Part 4. Okay, here you have the same kinds of rhythms. 1 and 2, 3, 4, that kind of stuff. But instead of playing doubles starting on the beat, we're doing doubles starting off the beat. So the first exercise is this: 1 and 2, 3, 4. 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 Stop. So that's number 1. Number 2, 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 Again, make sure the hi-hat doesn't change. Sometimes people like to change this stuff now that we're doing some harder things, but hi-hat has to stay the same. Everything else has to fit in relation to it. Let's skip around a little bit. Let's do number 6. So the snare drum, starting on the end of beat 2. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 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 Stop. Okay. So that's number 6. How about number 10? Number 10. Bass drum and snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 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 3, 4, and stop. Okay. That one's rough because you're flowing from one to the next, okay? Alright, so go through these. It just moves around the different beats just like all these other exercises that we've been over to this point. Here's the 16-bar exercise. I'll just play it for you. People have a hard time with the last line. First measure of the last line is a real pain in the butt. It's because you're doing the right foot and the left hand together, or the bass drum and the snare drum together, with some tough rhythms. Just work it out. As long as your hi-hat's staying the same and you practice it slow, you'll be fine. Okay, and then going from there into the rest, the other two measures on the line. Measure 2. Measure 3. People want to rush that because there's some space in there. Space, 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 space. People want to rush that or speed it up. Don't do that. There you go. So that's that 16-bar exercise. There's some other challenging measures in here, but they're all about the same difficulty level. They're not too bad. So that's the 4th section. So now when you practice, do the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd as a warm-up. Just run through it a few times every time you sit down to practice. And then this 16-bar exercise, spend most of your time working on that. Okay? Section 5. Now, this stuff I don't really need to play for you as much. I'll kind of just skip straight to the 16-bar exercise. But up to this point, if you can play sections 1 through 4, okay. Doesn't have to be great, but if you can read it okay and play it okay, then starting with section 5, it's really just a matter of reading. You're playing notes on the beat, notes off the beat, on the snare or on the bass, all over the place. So just do some reading. Number 1 is just 1 and 2, 3, 4. It's not a new rhythm for us. It's just a new combination for us. So instead of playing 1 and 2 either on the bass drum or on the snare drum, well, now we're doing it between the bass drum and the snare drum. So it's bass, snare, hi-hat, 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 bass, snare, hi-hat, hi-hat, hi-hat. But up to this point, you should be able to read okay. So I'm going to let you go through this stuff on your own. So we're going to cover the 16-bar exercise. Here's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gosh, there's a bunch of measures in here that can mess you up. The first part, I guess, would be, if you look at the second line, third measure over, you have a bunch of offbeat bass drum hits, but your snare drum's on 2 and 4. Just stay focused for that. You'll be fine. It's not that big of a deal. And then third line, second and third measure. It's a lot of non-stop playing. So just be aware, keep your eyes open, and keep it slow. Work through that. Then at the third measure on the last line, and then the fourth one, watch the hi-hat. Everybody wants to speed that up. That last measure is particularly important to me. When I have students play that last measure, I'm looking for space between those hi-hat notes. The bass drum only plays 3 times in that measure, but it's really spread out, and so the space is important to me. That's what I'm looking for, so make sure you get that. Okay, so that's the part 5. Homework, run through 1, 2, 3, and 4. Spend most of your time working on 5. Now at this point, yeah, you have more stuff to run through, so don't run through it as many times. I mean, back in the beginning, when you were on section 2 and I told you to run through part 1, you may do that 3 or 4 times and then work on part 2. Well, at this point, run through part 1 maybe once, twice if you really feel like it. Run through part 2 once or twice, part 3 once or twice, part 4 once or twice, and then spend most of your time on part 5. So the idea is, as you work on this stuff, these 16-bar exercises will become easier for you, and they should become more warm-ups than exercises. They're warm-ups, okay? But while you're learning how to play, they are exercises, things for you to develop your drumming skills.